Kiran Mataji, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Welcome to the call, Mataji. Happy Damodar month to you too. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandot pranams to you and to all the devotees here. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Happy Damodar month to all. This is
Hare
Sumi
Krishna,
from
Sumi
Jersey
Mataji,
City.
please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you so much, Mataji, for joining the call. Welcome to the call. Happy Damodar month to you too, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Sushmita Mataji, please accept my humble obeisances. Jai Shri Prabhupada. Thank you, Harita Mataji, for the beautiful recitation of the 15th chapter. And thank you, Sushmita Mataji, for your warm welcoming. This is Preeti Vilasini Devi Dasi from Atlanta. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Pratipilasini Mataji, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada, all glories to all your wonderful services. It is such a pleasure to hear your voice itself, Mataji. Thank you so much, Mataji, for joining the call. Welcome to the call. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Swami Mataji, Dandavat Pranam to you and all Vaishnava. Srila Prabhupada, Srila Gurudev ki Jai, Vrinda.
Hare Krishna, Vrinda Gopika Mataji, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada, all glories to all your wonderful chanting, Mataji. Thank you so much for joining the call. Welcome to the call. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Welcome to Bhakti Sangha Japa conference call. Today, we are so fortunate to have Her Grace Cinmayi Vrajpriya Mataji to enlighten us on the topic of Sri Caitanya Bhagavata Madhya khanda, 16 number chapter, text 51 to 74. Before I hand over the call to Mataji, I would like to read today's quote of Srila Prabhupada. So, today is 17th October. The 6 Goswamis were merged in the ocean of the love affairs of the gopis with Krishna. Therefore, this mendicantism, renunciation, it was external. They were enjoying better things. So, unless you enjoy better things, you cannot give up inferior things. Vrindavan, October 17, 1972. Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Hare Krishna Mataji, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you so much, Mataji. We are eagerly waiting to hear from you. Now I will hand over the call to you, Mataji. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna.
Mataji, Dandavat Pranam to you. All glories to Srila Prabhupada, all glories to Srila Gurudev. Thank you so much, Mataji. Thank you for your warm welcome. Hare Krishna, dear devotees. Please accept my humble obeisances. Vanchakalpatarubhyascha, kripasindhubhyev cha, patitanam pavanebhyo, vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Not qualified to speak as usual, but I take this opportunity to purify myself on this first day of Kartik Mas. So I request all of you to please shower your blessings upon me so that for the next few minutes I'll speak something relevant, pleasing to Srila Prabhupada and pleasing to Srila Gurudev, and it should be pleasing to all your ears. So please bless me that I should not make any mistakes and I should not say anything deviant from Srila Prabhupada's words. I need this prayer for myself. So we'll start with the Mangalacharan prayers. Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtham Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupaha Kada Mahyam Dadati Swapadantikam. Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yutapadakamalaam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhan Vitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindho Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute तप्त कांचना गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरे प्रिये वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः नमां विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिन् इति नामिने नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यादेशतारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभो नित्यानंदा श्री अद्वैता गदाधारा श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंदा हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्णा हरे 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 रामा राम रामा हरे हरे यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे श्रीगुरुं दीनतारिणं परमानन्दं माधवं श्रीचैतन्यमीश्वरं हरिः ओम् Hare Krishna everybody. So we are in a beautiful section of this 16th chapter where the glories of Advaita Acharya has begun. So yesterday we were very fortunate to hear about who actually Advaita Acharya is, what are his glories, and it was a beautiful recap. So Advaita Acharya is Mahavishnu and Sadashiva combined, we all know that. And so the Supreme Personality of Godhead, to create this material world, he used an efficient cause, that is the Nimitta Karana, and then we have the material cause, the Upadana Karana. So Nimitta Karana is Mahavishnu, who glances at material energy. And the Upadana or the material cause is Sri Advaita. What does he do? He infuses the creative energy into all the material ingredients. And therefore, Advaita Acharya is considered the original cause of creation. And then, though he is doing such a big job, but what is his actual job? It is to preach devotional service to everybody. That is why he is called Acharya, and he has no other occupation other than to teach devotional service. And he is the supreme master, he's the spiritual master of all the devotees. And yesterday we learned how he is the main limb, he is an anga of Mahaprabhu. So with this recap, we'll get into today's verses. And yesterday we saw how Advaita Acharya would secretly worship the Lord's lotus feet. So Mahaprabhu would give lots of reverence to Advaita Acharya and would not let him, he would not treat him like a devotee. He would treat him like his guru. But Advaita Acharya never liked it. And he would always figure out ways where he could manifest his mood of a devotee. And whenever Mahaprabhu would lose his external consciousness and would get into ecstasy, our Advaita Acharya would stealthily go and worship his lotus feet with all the 6 kinds of ingredients he would worship. He would take the lotus feet and put it on his head, and he would wash the lotus feet of Mahaprabhu with his tears. So all these ways he was worshipping Mahaprabhu. So we'll continue with that pastime and see what happens today. So this is from text 51. एकदिन महाप्रभु विश्वंभर नाचे आनंदे अद्वैता ताना बुली पाछे पाछे. One day, as Lord Vishwambhara danced in ecstasy, Advaita danced behind him. So Advaita Acharya was also dancing in ecstasy with our Lord Mahaprabhu. We'll see then what happens. हाइला प्रभुर मुछा अद्वैत देखिया लेपिला चरण धुला अंगे लुकाइया. When Advaita saw the Lord lose consciousness, he secretly took the dust from the Lord's lotus feet and smeared it on his body. अशेष कौतुक जाने प्रभु गौर राया नचिते प्रभु सुख नहीं पाया. Lord Gauranga knows unlimited pranks. We have seen how right from his childhood he's manifested, he's played so many pranks. So he knows all the pranks. So he understood whatever Advaita Acharya has done. So he came back to his consciousness and started dancing, but he did not feel any happiness. प्रभु कहे चित्त के नवासो प्रकाशा कार अपराधे मोरा नहय उल्लासा. The Lord said, why am I unable to capture the Lord in my heart? Who did I offend so that I am not feeling happy? So the Lord's first query was, did I offend anybody that I am not feeling happiness in my service, in my act of pleasing the Lord? Actually, who is Mahaprabhu? He is Achyuta, he is infallible, he cannot make any mistake. But then he is teaching us how we have to introspect ourselves when something goes wrong. This is a lesson for myself. When something goes wrong, I am so liberal in placing the blame on everybody but me. I will place it on everybody, whomever I feel like, but I'll not take the blame. But this introspection is so much needed in spiritual life and also in the material life where I am mostly in. So we need to introspect and see if I have done any mistake. That is something which I learned while reading this verse. And Mahaprabhu says, Konchore amare va kariyache chori se aparadhe ami nachite na pari. Or has some thief stolen from me? Is it because of that offense that I'm unable to dance? के हवा किया लाई छे मोर पद धूली सबे सत्य कहे चिंता नाही आमी बाली. Then Mahaprabhu says, has anyone taken dust from my feet? Do not worry, tell me the truth. So this is so typical to the pastime in Srivasangan's, which we heard from Mataji a few days back, where Srivas Pandit's mother-in-law hides behind a basket and Mahaprabhu does not feel ecstasy in his dance. And then he says, I'm not feeling the pleasure. And he realized, and all the devotees start worrying. What are we supposed to do now? Why is this happening? Is it something which we have done? And then immediately Mahaprabhu gives a hint. Is somebody hiding somewhere? So the same way he is giving a hint here again. He says, has anybody taken dust from my feet? Please tell me the truth. Don't worry about anything. Just tell me the truth. Antaryami vachana shuniya bhakta gana bhaye mona kasabe kichu na bale vachana. When the devotees heard the words of the Lord who is present in everybody's heart, they did not say anything but remained silent in fear. Now the devotees, they don't know what to do. They have seen Advaita Acharya do this many, many times, but they cannot say anything. But they know the Supreme Lord is in everybody's heart. So they were out of fear, they just kept quiet. बलिले अद्वैत भया न बलिले मारी भुजिया अद्वैत बले yoda hastakari. If they spoke, they would have to face Advaita. And if they didn't, they would be finished. So, of course, Mahaprabhu is saying, do not worry, tell the truth, but they know what Mahaprabhu is going to do, how they're going to get chastisement. So, they don't want that part. But at the same time, if they say what is happening, what happened, then they're going to face the wrath of Advaita Acharya. So, they don't know what to do. They're all quiet. But understanding this dilemma, our Advaita Acharya, who is so merciful, himself started talking with folded hands. Shunaba pachore yadi sakshatana paya tabe tara agochare laite yuyaya. Listen, my dear Lord, if a thief cannot get something openly, then he should take it secretly. So if the thief is not getting some substance, what can he do? He knows the art of stealing, so he will steal. If it is not, and our Prabhupada Saraswati explains this, he says, if it is not possible to openly steal something from others, then a thief is competent to steal that item secretly. But if it is known that the offense committed by harming someone by such an act will not be repeated, then that knowledge brings pleasure. Why is Prabhupada Saraswati saying this? Because Advaita Acharya says this next. He says, Muhi chori kariya cho more kshama dosha arana kariba yadi tora asantosha. I have committed the theft. Please forgive me. Yeah, I will not do it again if it displeases you. So Advaita Acharya is saying, I'm the one who did that theft. I'm the one who took the dust from your lotus feet. So please forgive me for that. It's something which I have stolen. And only if it displeases you, I will not do it again. Otherwise, I'm more than willing to do it again and again and again. So this is our Advaita Acharya. We'll take a small pause here and we will discuss on the glories of the dust of the lotus feet of the Supreme Lord. What is this Padadhuli that Advaita Acharya, we saw the glories of Advaita Acharya, how big a personality he is. He is personality of Godhead himself. And even he is craving for that. And when he is not getting it, he is even ready to steal it. So what is this dust of the Supreme Lord's lotus feet? Many elevated, advanced devotees who are fit to speak about this have already spoken. So I will just quote a few prayers or verses which different personalities have spoken, glorifying the Supreme Lord's lotus feet from a few of the pastimes. There are so many, I just picked a few of them. So the first one is Kaliya Lila, where our Gopala, our little Gopala, comes to know that he is, all the cows are not able to drink water from Mother Yamuna because Kaliya is residing there. And so our little Krishna goes, he swims and creates so much of tumultuous sound while swimming that he evokes the wrath of Kaliya. Kaliya comes and then there is a fight between them. Kaliya wraps the Supreme Lord in his coils, but then the Supreme Lord releases himself and jumps on Kaliya's hood and starts dancing on Kaliya. And how beautiful is it when the Lord's lotus feet touches the hood of the Kaliya, that the sole of the Lord's lotus feet is so pinkish and reddish, and that beautiful soft lotus feet, when he's jumping and dancing on the hoods of the Kaliya, Kaliya has gems on his hood, and these gems are glowing, and that they are giving additional glow to the Lord's beautiful lotus feet. So this is how beautifully the Lord is dancing. But then the Vrajavasis are not in a mood to enjoy the dance. They are overwhelmed with anxiety. They are overwhelmed with fear what would happen to their little Krishna, and they are all becoming unconscious. So this is how it is. And slowly the Lord dancing and dancing, he is taking off the life air of Kaliya. The Kaliya starts vomiting blood. At that time, the Nagapatnis, they realize that they have to do something, otherwise they're going to lose Kaliya. So at that time, they go and they first collect all the jewels. They go offer it to the Supreme Lord. Whatever is his, they offer it back to him. And then they render beautiful prayers. And I will just, this is all from Krishna book. I'll just read a small paragraph, like something in between a paragraph, which Srila Prabhupada writes. He writes, the Nagapatnis were astonished that although Kaliya had the body of a serpent as the result of grievous sinful activities, at the same time, he was in contact with the Lord to the extent that the Lord's lotus feet were touching his hoods. Certainly, this was not the ordinary result of pious activities. No pious activity can give this fortune. So these two contradictory facts astonished them. And thus they continued to pray, "Oh dear Lord, we are simply astonished to see that he is so fortunate as to have the dust of your lotus feet on his head. This is a fortune sought after by great saintly persons. Even the goddess of fortune underwent severe austerities just to have the blessing of the dust of your lotus feet. So how is it that Kaliya is so easily getting this dust on his head? We have heard from authoritative sources that those who are blessed with the dust of your lotus feet do not care even for the highest post within the universe, namely the post of Lord Brahma, or the kingship of heavenly planets, or the sovereignty of this planet. Nor do such persons desire to rule the planets above this earth, such as Siddhaloka, nor do they aspire for the mystic powers achieved by the yoga process, nor do the pure devotees aspire for liberation by becoming one with you. My Lord, although he is born in a species of life which is fostered by the most abominable mode of material nature, accompanied with the quality of anger, this king of serpents has achieved something very, very rare. Living entities who are wandering within this universe in different species of life can very easily achieve the greatest benediction only by your mercy. So for us to get the dust of the lotus feet of the Supreme Lord or the dust of the lotus feet of Vaishnavas, we need mercy of the Supreme Lord and the Vaishnavas. This is the Nagapatni's prayers. Even the gopis in their, this is Kartik month, Sharad Purnima today. So during their Rasa Leela, when the Gopi Geet is going on, when they're offering beautiful prayers to the Supreme Lord, this is something which they say, "Dear Krishna, actually we have become very lusty, having been touched by your lotus feet. Your lotus feet certainly kill all kinds of sinful activities of devotees who have taken shelter there. You are so kind that even the ordinary animals take shelter under your lotus feet. Your lotus feet are also the residence of the goddess of fortune, yet you danced on the heads of the Kaliya serpent with them. Now we are requesting you to kindly place your lotus feet on our breasts and pacify our lusty desires to touch you." So Mataji was also talking in one of her classes about the shade of the lotus feet of the Lord, like the Lord stands in his Tribhanga posture and his right foot is the one which is elevated. The left foot is flat, so that can give us shade. The right foot is like this, and this right foot can give shelter to the entire creation. Everything, all the living entities can just stand under this shade and take shelter of that beautiful lotus feet and take the dust from there. And when we talk about the dust of the Lord's lotus feet, we cannot not talk about Akrura. So we know Akrura was sent by Kamsa to come to Vrindavana and take the two brothers to Mathura. So while Kamsa was I'm so sorry. While Akrura was coming in the chariot, he was meditating so nicely on Krishna. How will Krishna and Balram receive him? What will happen? And will the Lord be merciful to even accept him? And all these things. The whole journey, Akrura is thinking about the Supreme Lord, meditating on the Supreme Lord, meditating on the Vrindavan Vasis, everything, and he comes. So I'll read this part. In this way, Akrura, the son of Shwapalka, meditated on Sri Krishna on his journey from Mathura. He reached Vrindavana by the end of the day. Akrura passed the whole journey without knowing how long it took. When he reached Vrindavan, the sun was setting. As soon as he entered the boundary of Vrindavan, he saw the hoof prints of the cows and Lord Krishna's footprints. Impressed with the signs of his soul, the flag, the trident, thunderbolt, and lotus flower. These symbols on the souls of the Lord's three worlds. Upon seeing the footprints of Krishna, Akrura immediately jumped down from the chariot out of respect. He became overwhelmed with all the symptoms of ecstasy. He wept and his body trembled. Out of extreme jubilation, upon seeing the dust touched by the lotus feet of Krishna, Akrura fell flat on his face and began to roll on the ground. So, Akrura's, and Prabhupada gives this small instruction to us. I thought I'll read that. Akrura's journey to Vrindavana is exemplary. One who intends to visit Vrindavan should follow the ideal footsteps of Akrura and always think of the pastimes and activities of the Lord. As soon as one reaches the boundary of Vrindavana, he should immediately smear the dust of Vrindavana over his body without thinking of his material position and prestige. So, this being Kartik Mas, many elevated souls are there. People like me who cannot go can read this and relish it. So I thought I'll read that extra instruction from Srila Prabhupada. So this is how Akrura responded to the dust of the lotus feet of the Supreme Lord. There's one more personality who is not discussed so much. This is she's one of the 16,000 queens whom Krishna married after he killed Bhaumasura. So this pastime happens. Her name is Rohini. So this pastime happens when during solar eclipse, all the Yadus have gone to Kurukshetra, and even the Pandavas come there, and Mother Draupadi, being such a pure devotee and always thinking of Lord Krishna, the moment she sees these queens of Dwaraka, she takes them aside and asks them, can you please tell me, each one of you, how Lord Krishna married you? So Mother Draupadi is sitting there and listening, and all the principal queens talk very nicely, beginning with Rukmini. They say how Lord Krishna married each one of them, and they are so happy and jubilant while talking about it. And then finally the turn comes to these 16,000 queens, and their representative Rohini starts speaking. She says, my dear queen, when Bhaumasura was conquering all the world, he collected wherever possible all the beautiful daughters of the kings and kept us arrested within his palace. When news of our imprisonment reached Lord Krishna, he fought with Bhaumasura and released us. Lord Krishna killed Bhaumasura and all his soldiers, and although he had no need to accept even one wife, he nevertheless, by our request, married all 16,000 of us. My dear queen, our only qualification was that we were always thinking of the lotus feet of Lord Krishna, which is the way to release oneself from the bondage of repeated birth and death. My dear Queen Draupadi, please take it from us that we are not after any opulence such as a kingdom, an empire, or a position of heavenly enjoyment. We do not want to enjoy such material opulences, nor do we desire to achieve the yogic perfections, nor the exalted post of Lord Brahma. Nor do we want any different kinds of liberations like Sarupya, Salokya, Sashti, Samipya, or Sayujya. We are not at all attracted by any of these opulences. Our only ambition is to bear on our heads, life after life, the dust particles attached to the lotus feet of Lord Krishna. The goddess of fortune also desires to keep that dust on her breasts, along with the fragrant saffron. We simply desire this dust which accumulates underneath the lotus feet of Krishna as he travels on the land of Vrindavana as a cowherd boy. The gopis especially, and also the cowherd men and the aborigine tribes women, always desire to become the grass and straw on the streets of Vrindavan, to be trampled on by the lotus feet of Krishna. My dear queen, we wish to remain as such life after life without any other desire. So this is what Queen Rohini says. So this is some things which we thought we will, and also a few more things I remembered. River Ganges, her water is considered holy because she carries the dust and tulsi leaves from the Lord's lotus feet, right? When Lord Trivikrama raises his leg to cover all the upper planetary system, his toenail pierces the covering of the universe, and Mother Ganges comes down, taking the dust of his lotus feet and tulsi leaves. So that is why Ganga Maya is considered so holy. And we also know River Yamuna. When Vasudeva was carrying our baby Krishna in that basket and going from Mathura to Gokula, then our mother Yamuna was jumping up and up to touch the lotus feet of the Supreme Lord. And then Prabhupada says in one of the purports in the first canto that the Lord fell down in the river at one time. And by the dust of his lotus feet, Yamuna Maya became sanctified. So Mother Yamuna, she couldn't wait. She knew that the Lord is coming to her banks and he is going to have plenty of pastimes with her, sporting on her beautiful water, dark water. But she could not wait. And as soon as he appeared, she jumped and made him fall on her, and she took the dust of his lotus feet. So this is how, and of course our Mahaprabhu also, in the only instructions he gave us, the Shikshashtakam, in his 5th verse he says, Ai nanda tanuja kinkaram patitam mam vishame bhavam buddho kripaya tava pada pankaja sthita dhuli sadrisham vichintaya. O son of Maharaja Nanda, I am your eternal servitor, yet somehow or other I have fallen into the ocean of birth and death. Please pick me up from this ocean of death and place me as one of the atoms at your lotus feet. So this is the instruction given by Mahaprabhu. This should be our prayer. So we got to know about the some of the personalities talking about the glories of the dust of the lotus feet. Now we'll see some of the personalities who took the dust of the lotus feet of our Mahaprabhu secretly. So we'll see 3 personalities here. And in all the 3 pastimes, the response of Mahaprabhu was very different. So we'll see how that happens. The first one is from Adilila. So here Mahaprabhu is still performing his Navadvip pastimes. He's performing Navadvip Sankirtan pastimes. He's not yet taken sannyasa. And he's having a wonderful time performing Sankirtan all the time with his devotees. And there are some beautiful pastimes which happen then, like all the devotees after a long time of Sankirtan, they are very exhausted. And Mahaprabhu at that time takes a seed of mango and sows it in his yard. And this immediately grows into a big tree. And it fructifies and gives beautiful hundreds and hundreds of mango fruits. And how are these mangoes? These mangoes don't have skin. They don't have seed, just pulp hanging from the tree. And Mahaprabhu collects all these mangoes and he offers them to our Krishna Chandra. And he distributes it to all the devotees. And each devotee takes one mango, and this one mango is sufficient for him to feel completely satisfied. So many such pastimes happen which are so beautiful. And while performing Sankirtan, Mahaprabhu will sometime reveal the pastimes of Narasimhadeva. Sometimes he'll play the role of Lord Shiva, sometimes Mother Durga, and they will even have dramas which they will enact in the house of Chandrasekharacharya. And this way, many pastimes happen. And after one such day, when after Mahaprabhu had finished his dancing, everything, one woman who is the wife of a caste Brahmana, she is not a devotee, she's a wife of a caste Brahmana. She comes and she catches hold of Mahaprabhu's lotus feet tightly. And then she takes the dust of his lotus feet and puts it repeatedly on her head. So how is Mahaprabhu's reaction to this? Mahaprabhu feels unlimitedly unhappy about it, to the point that immediately he runs to Ganges and he dips himself there to counteract the sinful activities of that woman. And here in purport, Srila Prabhupada explains how Vaishnava preachers, when they are in their preaching activities, when they meet the general masses, people come and they jump and take the dust of the lotus feet of Vaishnavas. And this is not to be encouraged, because the sinful activities of those people will be taken up by these, the reactions will be taken up by these merciful Vaishnavas, and the merciful Vaishnavas will have to suffer for this. So this is what Mahaprabhu is teaching us in this pastime. This is very much different from what Advaita Acharya is doing, but I just thought of taking 3 different settings where Mahaprabhu reacts differently to people taking dust from his lotus feet. So this was the first one. Second one was Gundicha Marjan. So we all know how during the Rath Yatra season starts, and every year during Rath Yatra, all the Navadvipasis will come to Jagannath Puri for participating in Rath Yatra. And once before Rath Yatra, Mahaprabhu calls Kashi Mishra, Sarvabhaum Bhattacharya, and the temple superintendent, and tells them he desires to clean Gundicha temple. And the temple superintendent says, "Oh Lord, it doesn't befit you to do this service, but since my duty is to serve you and please you with whatever you desire, I will take this upon me and I will make all the arrangements." And the temple superintendent makes complete arrangements of providing lots of brooms, lots of pots for carrying water, everything. And the next day, Mahaprabhu himself will adorn sandalwood pulp on all the devotees, and everybody will go to Gundicha temple, and an intense cleaning takes place just to make us understand how we have to clean the temple altar. We have to keep our home clean, temple clean, and thus our mind also clean. So this intense cleaning happens, and Mahaprabhu himself sweeps and collects piles of straw, dust, and everything is taken out, thrown, and it is a beautiful pastime, very elaborately described in Chaitanya Charitamrita, Madhya Leela, chapter 12. And as this is happening, and after all the cleaning, while this cleaning is happening, Mahaprabhu praises the devotees. He says, "Yes, you are doing very well. Can you teach that devotee how well to clean?" And this way, everyone is encouraged, and there is a transcendental competition, and everybody is cleaning very nicely. And hundreds of devotees are waiting with water pots, waiting for Mahaprabhu's instruction, when Mahaprabhu will ask for water, and they can start pouring water and then cleaning the temple again. So when the first cleaning is done, then the water is asked for, and hundreds of pots of water is being poured, and some people are drawing water from the well, and people are passing it from one to another. And as they're passing, they're saying Krishna. One person takes the pot and says Krishna, and then he hands out to the next person and says Krishna. So this way, Sankirtan is also happening, and the temple is being cleaned. So at that time, when everything was being washed thoroughly, there was one Gaudiya Vaishnava from Bengal, who was very intelligent and very simple. He came, he poured water on the lotus feet of the Supreme Lord, and then he immediately took that water and drank it himself. Seeing this, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu felt a little unhappy, and he was outwardly angry. So, although the Lord was certainly satisfied with him, he became angry externally in order to establish the etiquette of religious principles. So this is a scenario where the Lord, in each condition, the Lord understands us. He is in our heart as Paramatma. He knows how much of contamination I have, how much of pure desires I have. So I cannot cheat the Lord. So in the first case, the Lord saw the woman's heart and rejected her. The second case, he is satisfied with this Gaudiya Vaishnava because he knows that this Vaishnava is doing it to take the dust of the lotus feet of the Supreme Lord, but he has to establish the etiquette of religious principles. So the Lord immediately calls Swarup Damodar and he says, just see the behavior of your Bengali Vaishnava. This person from Bengal has washed my feet within the temple of the personality of Godhead. And not only that, he drank that water himself. Now I do not know what my destination is because of this offense. Indeed, your Bengali Vaishnava has greatly implicated me. So this way, this is our reaction. This is the reaction of Mahaprabhu to this pastime. So Swarup Damodar then got hold of that Gaudiya Vaishnava by neck and gave him a little push and ejected him from the Gundicha temple and made him stay outside. And then Swarup Damodar comes inside and requests Mahaprabhu to please excuse that innocent person. After that, Mahaprabhu was very satisfied. So this is one more pastime with a different kind of reaction from Mahaprabhu. Now we'll go to the third one. Third one is, this is from Antya Leela. This is a devotee named Kalidasa. So this also happens Kalidasa is a devotee who accompanies the Navadvipvasis once from Bengal and comes to see Mahaprabhu in Jagannath Puri. So who is this Kalidasa? He was a gentleman. He never uttered anything but the holy name of Krishna. He was a very advanced devotee. Yet he was very simple and liberal, and whatever work he would do, all the time he would be chanting Krishna's name in his mouth. And actually, this Kalidasa was an uncle of Raghunath Das Goswami. And throughout his entire life, even in his old age, what was Kalidasa doing? His only occupation was trying to eat the remnants of food left by Vaishnavas. So he ate the remnants of all the Vaishnavas who were present in Bengal. How he would do that? He would take gifts. He was from a rich Raghunath Das Goswami. We know he is from a very aristocratic family. So he was a very rich person, Kalidasa. He would take gifts, presents, like first class eatables and go see Vaishnavas who are born in the Brahmana families. And he would give them the gifts. And then he would beg remnants of food from those Vaishnavas. Definitely they would not give him. Then he would go hide and wait for them to honor all that food. And after they would throw away the leaf and whatever was left, he would go and he would come out of his hiding, take that leaf and lick all the remnants of the Vaishnavas. So this was how he was doing it. And he would also take gifts to homes of Vaishnavas who were born in Shudra families. And he would ask them also to honor this food, and he would wait, and when they would throw away the remnants, he would go eat. So this was how he was taking the remnants of all the Vaishnavas. And there was one such Vaishnava by name Jhadu Thakura. And this Jhadu Thakura, he belonged to the Bhuni Mali caste. And once Kalidasa went to this Jhadu Thakura's house, and he presented fresh, nice mangoes to Jhadu Thakura and his wife. And Jhadu Thakura, the moment he sees Kalidasa, he comes, offers his obeisances, and Kalidasa also offers his obeisances to Jhadu Thakura, and both of them talk for some time. And then Jhadu Thakura, in very sweet words, he says, I belong to a low caste and you are a very respectable guest. How shall I serve you? Can I make some, if you will permit me, I will send some food to a Brahmana's house and you can go there and take prasadam, and this way I will feel very happy. But Kalidasa instead says, oh, my dear sir, I please beg you, bestow your mercy upon me. I have come to see you, although I am very fallen and sinful. Simply by seeing you, I have now become purified. And my dear sir, but I still have one desire. Please be merciful to me by kindly placing your feet upon my head so that the dust of your feet may touch it. So this way, he asks. And Jadu Thakura says, no, I cannot do that. I belong to a very low caste family and you are a very respectable rich man. I cannot do that. Please excuse me. And then Kalidasa starts quoting various verses from scriptures which say that a Vaishnava, no matter where he belongs, which caste he belongs, it doesn't matter. He is so much elevated. And he quotes various verses. He may be born in a Shudra family or even lower than a Shudra, but if he's a Vaishnava, he could be a dog eater also, but if he's a Vaishnava, he is to be respected. On hearing all these quotations, our Jhadu Thakura says, yes, this is true, for it is the version of Shastra. It is true, however, for one who is genuinely advanced in the devotion to Krishna. Such a position may befit others, but I do not possess such spiritual power. I belong to a lower class and have not even a pinch of devotion to Krishna. So this way Jhadu Thakura says, and he says, I can never give my dust of my feet to you. So Kalidasa then he offers obeisances and leaves. So Jhadu Thakura, it's generally a custom when somebody leaves our home, we walk with them till some distance and see them off. So Jhadu Thakura did that. And then he went back to his house. So now this yard was filled with the imprints of his lotus feet. So Kalidasa comes running back and rolls on that on the imprints of those lotus, on the dust of that lotus feet, and he feels great ecstasy. And then he goes and hides. And Jhadu Thakura's wife sees these mangoes and gives them to her husband, who eats them and puts the seed and the skin in the banana leaves in which Kalidasa had wrapped it. And the wife also does the same. And then she takes all these banana leaf filled with the seeds and skin and everything and throws them where the refuse is thrown. And Kalidasa goes there and he takes the skin and seed and licks them. And by this, he feels extreme ecstasy. So this is our Kalidasa. And he has come to meet Mahaprabhu now in Jagannath Puri. So Mahaprabhu he knows the heart of every person. So he knows what kind of a devotee this Kalidasa is. And now Kalidasa would every day, what was Mahaprabhu's routine? He would regularly visit Jagannath temple every day. And his servant Govinda would carry his water pot and go with him. And there were steps in that towards that Simhadwara, and beneath the steps there was a ditch where we had to wash our legs and then go. So this was Mahaprabhu's routine, where Govinda would wash Mahaprabhu's lotus feet in the ditch, and then Mahaprabhu would climb the steps and enter the temple. So when this was being done, Kalidasa, who was following Mahaprabhu, as Mahaprabhu is washing the lotus feet, he's watching Mahaprabhu, and then I'm so sorry, I forgot to tell this. So, but Mahaprabhu had given strict orders that nobody should touch this water. Okay, so Govinda would not allow any living entity to come and take the remnants of that water which has washed Mahaprabhu's lotus feet. Nobody had permission. Of course, some Vaishnavas would do it by trick, and but that was, Mahaprabhu would ignore it. So now Kalidasa came as Mahaprabhu was washing his lotus feet, and he extends his palm to take the water. And he drinks one palmful of water. Then again he takes from Mahaprabhu's lotus feet, drinks second, and again he drinks third. Now Mahaprabhu stops him and he says, do not act in this way anymore. I have fulfilled your desire as far as possible. So for Mahaprabhu, who was restricting everybody from taking his remnants, he allowed Kalidasa to drink it 3 times. So Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is the most exalted, omniscient, supreme personality of Godhead. And therefore, he knew that Kalidasa, in the core of his heart, had full faith in Vaishnavas. Because of this quality, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu satisfied him with mercy not attainable by anyone else. And again, after this going to the temple, when Mahaprabhu would go home and he would honor the prasadam. At that time, again, Kalidasa was waiting outside to see if Mahaprabhu will give more remnants. And Mahaprabhu, understanding the heart of Kalidasa, that he genuinely wanted the dust and the remnants of Vaishnavas, he gave permission to Govinda to go give these remnants. And taking the remnants of the food of Vaishnavas is so valuable that it induced Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to offer Kalidasa his supreme mercy. So this is how, these are the three pastimes with different responses from Mahaprabhu. We will continue with our verses for today. I know it's already 11:48. So texts 61 to 65. Advaitera vakya maha krudha vishwambhara advaita mahima krodhe balaye vistara sakala samsara tumi khariya samhara tathapiha chitte nahi vasa pratikara samharera avashesha sabe achiyami ama samhariya tabe sukheta katumi तपस्वी सन्यासी योगी ज्ञानी ख्याति यारा कहरे न करे तुम्ही शूलिते सम्हारा कृतार्थ हईते ये आई से तुम हस्थाने ताहारे सम्हारा कर धरिय चरणे. So now how is Vishwambhar's response to Advaitacharya's saying that I am the thief, I have taken your the dust of your lotus feet? Vishwambhara became greatly angry on hearing Advaita's words. In anger, he began to narrate the glories of Advaita. Even after annihilating the entire world, you are not satisfied. I alone remain after annihilation. When you annihilate me, then you will be happy. When you kill even the ascetics, sannyasis, yogis, and renowned philosophers, who can remain safe from your trident? If someone comes to achieve your favor, you grab his feet and kill him. So this is what Mahaprabhu is saying. And we'll see what Prabhupada Saraswati's explanation is. Since Sri Advaita Prabhu is Mahavishnu, he annihilates the universe in his form as Rudra. Sri Sri Gaurasundara said, I am an insignificant person. To annihilate my insignificant strength in devotional service is not going to increase your glories. You are a powerful Vaishnava, so it is most improper for you to snatch away the spiritual advancement of persons who are neophytes in spiritual life like us. So Mahaprabhu is placing himself so low. He's saying he's a neophyte devotee. When a devotee of Mathura comes before you and prayed for devotional service, you forcibly took away his devotion to destroy his advancement in devotional service. On the pretext of offering prayers in this way, Sri Gaurasundara appropriately revealed the glories of Sri Advaita. So Mahaprabhu becomes very angry and he says, this is a kind of mixture I felt where Mahaprabhu is saying, he accepts that even after annihilating the entire world, I alone remain. After the annihilation, I alone remain. So he's kind of accepting he is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. I was thinking, Mahaprabhu says he remained alone, but there was one personality who saw him when he was alone during annihilation. Anybody wants to say who that personality was? Or I can say.
Markandeya.
Markandeya Rishi, but I'm running out of time. I won't say the whole episode. So Markandeya Rishi was he was a great Rishi, and he was performing austerities for such a long time. It says 6 manvantaras he did, and in the 7th manvantara, Indra wanted to test him and sends Cupid, but then Markandeya Rishi doesn't get swayed by it at all. And then Naranarayana Rishi becomes so happy by this that they come and they offer they give their darshan to Markandeya Rishi, and Markandeya Rishi offers beautiful prayers. So Naranarayana Rishi become very happy with these prayers, and they say, ask for any benediction. At that time, Markandeya Rishi says, he says, I want to see the illusory potency of yours, O Lord. I want to see how that illusory potency bewilders all living entities. So this is Markandeya Rishi's request. So on this, Naranarayana Rishi, he just smiles at this. He says, okay, so be it, and he walks away. So then after that, Markandeya Rishi is continuing his austerities and his ashram and his staying. And one day, suddenly there is a great wind, and this wind created terrible sound, caused fearsome clouds and lightning, roaring thunder, and a huge downpour, and great oceans started appearing on all sides, and fearful whirlpools, ominous rumblings came, and all the inhabitants of the universe, everyone started getting tormented. And the sage was able to see this. This was his prayer, and so it's getting fulfilled now. He's seeing how all the jivas are getting tormented by this annihilation. There is bolts of lightning, and there's lots of outpour, and hurricanes, whirlpools, and everything. It engulfs everything in the earth. The earth is completely inundated, and it is just all the inhabitants are taken away except Markandeya Rishi. He remains alone, and he is wandering alone in the water as if dumb and blind. He is tormented by hunger, thirst. He is attacked by Timingala fish. So many things happen to him, and at times he experiences lamentation. Sometimes he is overcome by misery, sometimes bewilderment, sometimes happiness, sometimes fear. All these things, how the illusory potency can torment us. He is going through everything, and countless millions of years pass. At that time, he sees a small island, and in that island, one young banyan tree is standing, bearing blossoms and fruits, and there's one leaf. Upon a branch of the northeast portion of the tree, he saw an infant boy lying on a leaf, and this child's effulgence was swallowing up the darkness. I'll just read this 3 verses which describes the Supreme Lord. It's so beautiful. The infant's dark blue complexion was the color of a flawless emerald. His lotus face shone with a wealth of beauty, and his throat bore marks like the lines on a conch shell. He had a broad chest, a finely shaped nose, beautiful eyebrows, lovely ears that resembled pomegranate flowers, and that had inner folds like a conch shell spirals. The corners of his eyes were reddish like the whorl of a lotus. The effulgence of his coral-like lips slightly reddened the nectarian enchanted smile on his face. As he breathed, his splendid hair trembled, and his deep navel became distorted by the moving folds of the skin on his abdomen, which resembled a banyan leaf. The exalted Brahmana watched with amazement as the infant took hold of one of his lotus feet with his graceful fingers, placed a toe within his mouth, and began to suck it. Kararavindena padaravindam mukharavinde viniveshayantam vatasya patrasya puteshayanam balam mukundam manasasmarami. So as Markandeya Rishi was seeing this most blissful sight, all his weariness disappeared, and he became so happy. He wanted to see who this child was. At that time, our baby Krishna, he inhaled and he sucked in Markandeya Rishi within his body like a mosquito. And Markandeya Rishi, within the body of the Supreme Lord, he saw everything. He saw how the creation was before the annihilation started. Everything, mountains, stars, sky, heaven, earth, everything. And he saw the basic elements of creation. He sees everything. He also sees himself. He sees Naranarayana Rishi. He sees his ashrama. He sees everything. And now, as he is, and then he sees he sees the vast sea again. Oh, okay. And then when he's seeing all this, what happens? Our baby Krishna exhales and he throws away Markandeya Rishi back to that water of dissolution. He is there again. And then our baby Krishna looks at Markandeya Rishi and gives a smile. At that time, Markandeya Rishi just wants to go and embrace this child, but this master of all the mystics, he who is hidden in everyone's heart, he becomes invisible to the sage, just as the achievements of an incompetent person can suddenly vanish. So our Supreme Lord disappeared, and Markandeya Rishi is reinstalled in his ashram as before. But this is something I just thought, maybe not very relevant. But I love this pastime, so I took an opportunity to say it. So then Mahaprabhu says, Mathura nivasi eka parama vaishnava tomara dekhite aila charana vaibhava. A great Vaishnava from Mathura came to see your glorious lotus feet. So who is Mahaprabhu talking about here? He's talking about himself. So this I found it very fascinating because at one point he is saying he's a devotee, and at the same time he is saying he's identifying himself as Nanda Kumara. He's saying, I am Mathura Nivasi, I am the son of that Maharaj Nanda. So it's a very that's what our Prabhupada Saraswati also says here. He says the Mathura Nivasi Vaishnava referred to herein was Gaurasundara himself. Gaurasundara was incarnated as a devotee, identified himself as a Vaishnava. And since he is non-different from the son of Nanda, he also referred to himself as Mathura Nivasi. And then he says, Toma dekhi kotha se pai be Vishnu bhakti, ara o samhari le tara chirantana shakti. He was supposed to achieve devotional service to Vishnu by seeing you, but you even destroyed whatever spiritual strength he had. लाईला चरण धुली तारे काई लक्षया samhara karite tumi parama nirdaya. You destroyed him by taking the dust from his feet. You are most merciless in the act of destruction. So he says one neophyte devotee from Mathura came and he wanted to take the dust from your lotus feet, but you have completely destroyed his devotional service. This is how Mahaprabhu is chastising Advaita Acharya. Ananta Brahmande Yata Che Bhakti Yoga Sakala Tumare Krishna Tila Upayoga. Krishna has rightly endowed you with the devotion found in innumerable universes. So how beautifully Mahaprabhu glorifies Advaita Acharya. He says Advaita Acharya, what devotion he has is the devotion found in all the innumerable universes put together. That is the devotion of Advaita Acharya, because he's the creator of everything. तथापि तुमी चुरी कर क्षुद्र स्थाने क्षुद्र संहरिते कृपा नहीं वा समाने. Yet you steal from an insignificant source. You have no compassion when it comes to destroying an insignificant creature. महादाकायित तुम्ही चोरे महचोरा तुम्ही से करीला चुरी प्रेम सुख मोरा. You are a great bandit and the greatest of all thieves. You have stolen my ecstatic love. मत चल कहे सुसत्य बचना शुनिया आनंदे भाषे भागवत गणा. As the Lord spoke the truth under some pretense, in this way, the devotees floated in ecstasy. So, this was a beautiful pastime. We'll end here. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Srila Guru Maharaj ki jai. Vanchakalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya eva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Thank you, Matajis, for patiently listening and tolerating me. Please correct all the mistakes I've made and please add on your own realizations. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Cinmayi Vrajpriya Mataji. Such a wonderful class, Mataji. Thank you so much. It seems that you are continuously drinking the nectar. It seems that how you are enjoying each and every pastimes, and you took us to different leelas also in between. Thank you so much, Mataji. Thank you, Mataji. Mataji, from where can you please give me the reference of Markandeya Rishi that where I can read that, Mataji?
12th canto, Mataji.
12th canto.
12th canto, chapters starts from 8, Mataji. 8, I think.
Chapter 8. Yesterday I was reading one book, The Perfect Creator, that small children's book, that banyan tree story. So at the end of that book, it was written, it is Krishna's, and you said that past time I got the desire to know the story, what happened. So you said the story today. Thank you so much, Mataji. I'm so grateful to you.
Thank you, Mataji. That's how Krishna answers, Mataji. Many times it has happened when there's a question, it gets answered by some person.
Hari
Had
Bol.
that desire and somehow.
Yes,
Paramatma
Mataji. Yes.
made
True,
this.
Mataji.
Thank
Thank
you.
you so much, Mataji.
Thank you.
Mataji, Priti Vilasini Mataji has raised her hand. Mataji, please go ahead, Mataji. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Chinmay Mataji. What a beautiful class. I was so absorbed. It was so nice. I like the way you went through the class, initially talking about the pastime of Kalia, then Akrura, and then the queens headed by Rohini. And then you went on to talk about the 3 different responses of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And finally, the story of Markandeya Rishi. What a beautifully planned class it was. Mataji, I really liked Rohini, Queen Rohini's realizations. And I had a question in her realization.
Krishna.
No, I forgot. Actually, I had 2-3 questions. It kept coming to my mind, but then I keep forgetting. So no, maybe I just liked her realization. But let's move on to that question of the responses. In the responses for that lady, what exactly was in the lady's mind, like Mahaprabhu didn't like?
It's not given much, Mataji. So Prabhupada explains, even I didn't understand, like I wasn't even knowing how to, like I was just searching when Vani quotes dust of lotus feet, this pastime came. And I started reading it. But Prabhupada says because her intention was not Vaishnavik, like it was not to take the dust of the lotus feet of Vaishnava. No, it was not that way, I think, Mataji. Whoever knows should add, because that's why I read from the purport. And Prabhupada, he said, this happens to preachers and we should try avoiding general mass from touching.
Generally, like, okay, give me blessings, that kind of attitude.
Yes, like we see and do it. There was no quality of a Vaishnava in that woman, and she just wanted to grab blessings. So that.
And the other 2 cases, I was just thinking, the last case of Kalidas, he was such a nice Vaishnava that he would go to every Vaishnava and he treated everybody as important, and he would go and take the remnants and everything. And Mahaprabhu sort of appreciated that spirit, probably, right? Like he didn't think, okay, this is I will only take the remnants of so and so because that person is established to be great. It was not like that. Just thinking of what Mahaprabhu would have appreciated. And the second case, I was a little no, in the third case itself, it is mentioned when you were talking about people, he never I didn't understand this. You said, maybe you said you meant to, sorry, this is what I heard, that he would even take the dust and the remnants of Vaishnavas and give it to the low class people, or was it that you said, or did you mean to say that
he would also go to Vaishnavas born in Shudra families and take remnants from there also.
So both.
Both. He would not make a discrimination that caste Brahmins I should take and not Shudras. Wherever he found Vaishnavas, he was going.
So it's not, the understanding that what I understood was, I don't know if this is an extrapolation that I understood, that he takes the remnants of Vaishnavas, great Vaishnavas, and goes and gives it to people who are unfortunate. Not like that, right? Did I get it wrong?
Let me see.
Of course, I understood this point that he goes to everybody and he takes their remnant. That point I understood. Was this also something that you mentioned?
Let me see if something is there in purport, Mataji. Prabhupada says something. I don't know. One second. Okay, Kalidasa, if the remnants of as many Vaishnavas as there were, he would all. Oh, there are no purports for this, Mataji.
So that means I just lost track and I was thinking something else.
I'll read the translations, Mataji. He would go to all the Vaishnavas born in Brahmana families, be they neophyte or advanced devotees, and present them with gifts of first-class eatables. He would beg remnants of food from such Vaishnavas, and if he did not receive any, he would hide. After the Vaishnavas finished eating, they would throw away their leaf dishes, and Kalidasa would come out of hiding, take the leaves, and lick up the remnants. He would also take gifts to homes of Vaishnavas born in Shudra families. Then he would hide and in this manner eat the remnants of food they threw away.
So he would take gifts to the house of Vaishnavas. It's not that he would take the Vaishnavas gift to a lower, less fortunate person. Okay, that's where I got confused. Okay, got it.
I don't think so, Mataji.
Yeah, no. I just mixed up the verses, Mataji. While you were reading, I didn't pay attention. So
no, maybe I read it too fast, Mataji.
Then, yeah, so one more thing I was thinking. Yeah, so this Rohini, can you read her statement again, Mataji?
Yes. So, the whole thing, Mataji?
No, just her final statement to.
Okay. She talks about how Krishna killed Bhaumasura and my dear queen, our only qualification was all 16,000 of us. No. Our only qualification was that we were always thinking of the lotus feet of Lord Krishna, which is the way to release oneself from the bondage of repeated birth and death. And then she says how one who gets the shelter of the lotus feet, they don't aspire for anything. We do not want to enjoy such material opulences, nor do we desire to achieve yogic perfections, nor the exalted post of Lord Brahma, nor do we want any kinds of liberation. We are not at all attracted by any of these opulences. Our only ambition is to bear on our heads life after life the dust particles attached to the lotus feet of Lord Krishna. And they refer to gopis. They are the only ones who talk about gopis.
Let's say that what they say about gopis.
Oh yes, I'll read Mataji. The goddess of fortune also desires to keep the dust on her breast along with fragrant saffron. We simply desire this dust which accumulates underneath the lotus feet of Krishna as he travels on the land of Vrindavana as a cowherd boy. The gopis especially, and also the cowherd men and the aborigine tribes women, always desire to become the grass and straw on the streets of Vrindavan, to be trampled on by the lotus feet of Krishna. My dear queen, we wish to remain as such life after life without any other desire.
That is what I was wanting to hear. How Rohini is, I was just thinking, she's calling on to the greatness of the gopis, calling out to the greatness of the gopis and thinking how fortunate they are, and this is her object of meditation. So beautiful, Mataji. This was such
And in contrast, Mataji, I think this is Lakshmana only. Lakshmana talks for a long time. One of the paragraphs Prabhupada has written, Lakshmana says, my dear Draupadi, when I accepted Lord Krishna as my worshipable husband, and he accepted me as his maidservant. So that's how Lakshmana talked. First she says, when I accepted Lord Krishna as my worshipable husband, and he accepted, then she says, he accepted me as his maidservant. In contrast to how these wives talk.
Yeah, that's also beautiful, right? I mean, yeah. And also they also talk about, I don't know if it was Satyabhama, I'm a sweeper. He says probably, yeah.
They all say that, right? We want to serve him, that is all. Yes. I didn't read the whole chapter actually. I should have read.
Yeah, it was interesting, Mataji. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mataji. At Kalidasa was your idea, Mataji. I didn't know what to talk, and you gave
No,
me.
but you had so many beautiful ideas, and you that I like the idea of making those three comparisons, like one where he's not at all happy, one he's slightly okay, and the third one he's very happy. And that was a very nice compilation. So thank you so much. Thank you, Mataji. Very nice.
Shila Gurudev. Thank you, Mataji.
Thank you, Mataji. Thank you, Mataji, for sharing your relation and clarifying. And again, we got the chance to hear them all. Thank you so much, Mataji. And dear devotees, if you have any questions or realization, please feel free to raise your hand or unmute yourself.
Mataji, I'll just thank Vinita Gandharvika Mataji. She's given her blessings. Lalitangi Mataji, Anita Mataji, Harita Mataji. Thank you so much, Matajis. Thank you for your blessings. Please keep me in your prayers.
Okay, Mataji. Thank you so much. Mataji, with your permission, can we end the call here, Mataji? Okay. Thank you so much, Mataji, for such an enlightening class today. We are very grateful to you and we will look forward for your association again in the future. Dear devotees, let's pay our obeisances to Mataji. Vancha kalpa tarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya eva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaisnavebhyo namo namaha. नंदकोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय, श्रीला प्रभुपाद की जय, चैतन्य भागवतम की जय, हर ग्रेस चिन्मय ब्रजप्रिया माता जी की जय. Thank you, माता जी.
Thank you,
Hare
Mataji.
Krishna.
कोटि दंडवत प्रणाम.
Thank
जय
you,
श्रील
Mataji.
Thank you
प्रभुपाद.
so much.
राधे राधे.
Thank you so much.